If you spend any amount of time in front of your television set whatsoever, NCIS is a totally unavoidable show. It has been on the box since early 2003 and sits indisputably at the top of the police procedural genre. The stories and characters have become the stuff of small-screen legend. Join us as we find out why David McCallum, Ducky Mallard, almost left the show, and the character hardly appears now. First up, why McCallum almost gave it all up. When one thinks of the series NCIS, one automatically thinks of the characters. Mark Harmon's Leroy Gibbs has featured since the beginning of the show in 2003 and was still going in season 19. The character has led the Naval Criminal Investigative Service to incredible effect throughout the decades. He worked with standout characters and actors like Paulie Perrette's Abby Suto, Cote de Pablo's Ziva David, and of course David McCallum's Donald Ducky Mallard. David McCallum is one of a handful of cast members that have been with the show since the first season and still feature on the show in season 20. But along with this long and winding path, he almost gave it all up. We're about to explore what made him want to quit the series and how the writers and producers reeled him back in. Do you know David McCallum wasn't the only Ducky on the show? Keep watching. We'll tell you more in a moment. Now, McCallum felt Ducky was growing stagnant. Technically, McCallum is still a member of the NCIS cast, but if you follow the show, you'll have noticed that he appears a lot less frequently than he used to, especially in recent seasons. The reason, as it turns out, revolves around David McCallum's perception of the character's direction. He felt Ducky was becoming somewhat redundant now that he is retired. McCallum explained to Express that he told the showrunner and producers he was thinking of finishing up on NCIS, and they countered with a hard-to-resist offer. Ducky was going to serve as a historian, they said, instead of the medical examiner. Also, McCallum is not the only actor to have played Ducky. David McCallum has played the role of Ducky to perfection, there's no doubt about that. But he is not the only actor to have slipped into the role. Adam Campbell played a much younger Ducky for a couple of episodes. Most famously, he played opposite Sean Harmon, Mark Harmon's son, in a season 18 episode titled Everything Starts Somewhere. In that episode, Sean Harmon played a younger Leroy Gibbs, and fans immediately asked for a prequel after watching him and Campbell's Ducky on screen. Although Campbell's younger Ducky was a hit, and he would undoubtedly thrive opposite Sean Harmon's Leroy Gibbs in a spin-off of their own, it was David McCallum that drove Ducky home to audiences around the world. Why did Paulie Perrette leave the series? Much gossip circulated at the time, but we're going to give you the real in a moment. Stay with us. Meanwhile, many actors have left NCIS, and this is why. Michael Weatherly, an original member of the flagship NCIS cast, admitted that being employed in one role for 12 years becomes a drag, even if that place is a hit TV show. He admits he left the show back in 2016 because of nothing less than boredom. NCIS had burned him out, and he was simply exhausted by playing his character. After all, he went on set as Tony DiNozzo for a full 13 seasons. He said it felt like a circle that had gone fully around at the time, and the resolution of the character made him happy. Above all, he had only good things to say about his time on the show. And what about Paulie Perrette? Her call to leave the hit series was always wrapped up in a bit of an enigma. She first announced she was leaving in 2017 with a tweet that read, "I believe in God and the universe so firmly," and it just suddenly became blindingly apparent that now was the time. She later said that leaving was a decision she had actually made in 2016. Paulie has, however, since made her reason for leaving public. She said, wait for it, she was terrified of Mark Harmon, and she was even afraid that he would attack her. She quickly deleted a tweet that alluded to something happening to a crew member, and also said she fought like hell from allowing a repeat of the situation. And as if that weren't enough, she then said she was assaulted for simply saying no, and that she then lost her job. So what is behind the stroke of the proverbial axe? Why did Perrette stand up for a crew member, and how is it that this provoked an attack by Mark Harmon? Well, apparently Harmon's dog bit a member of the NCIS crew, and this was the spark that ignited the powder keg. Harmon is a publicity machine. Perrette went up against him, and the outcome, at least according to her, was predictable. In their response, by the way, CBS said Perrette came to the producers with a complaint a year before. They took it seriously, they said, and worked toward a resolution, and they guaranteed their commitment to a safe and happy work environment. Sasha Alexander's character was shot in the head. No chance of a return there. But why so violently and why so final? Stay with us. We'll tell you shortly. Now, Cote de Pablo's 2013 departure. Cote wasn't on the show from the beginning. She joined the cast in 2005 and then eventually made an abrupt exit in 2013. And she holds the distinction of being the first of any of the major NCIS characters to leave the series. She told TV Guide her decision to leave was overwhelming overwhelmingly difficult and even terrifying, and she also said her reasons for leaving the hit series were personal. After a few years had passed and the dust had settled, she opened up about the show not treating her character right. She said Ziva, her character on NCIS, wasn't treated with the necessary respect. She did make it clear in the same interview that she wasn't happy with the show, but that she wouldn't rule out a return. That wish later came true when Ziva was again featured in NCIS seasons 16 and 17. Then, Sasha Alexander's reasons for quitting NCIS. When Sasha told the producers that she wanted out of NCIS, this was after only 2 seasons, they sent her off with a bang, shot in the head, and killed. It couldn't have been more final for her character, Special Agent Kate Todd, than that. It shocked fans around the world. So the question is, why leave the hit series in such a horrifying, grisly manner? She says she was simply tired of doing the show and was ready to move on. Today, she doesn't regret leaving and explains that she believes she wouldn't be where she finds herself in her life today if she had stayed. She's happily married, has 2 kids, and she's always doing creative things she loves. After her 2005 NCIS departure, she did Rizzoli and Isles for all 7 seasons. She was also a recurring character in Shameless and did a whole range of other shows, including Curb Your Enthusiasm and Law & Order SVU. The suave Brit Henry Dwayne's exit came after a showrunner died. Keep watching to find out more. Now, even directors get bored. Lauren Holly was on NCIS between season 3 and 5. You may know her as the director in charge of the NCIS team, Jenny Shepard. Lauren had been out of the acting game for some time when she was offered the NCIS gig. Initially, it was supposed to be a short guest arc for somewhere around 6 episodes, but this quickly grew into something bigger and eventually ended up with her playing the part for an astonishing 48 episodes in total. She said she left for no other reason than she was getting increasingly tired of the character and was worried that may impact the quality of her on-screen work on NCIS. To learn why Jennifer Esposito left and how the door was left open for a possible return, watch to the end of this video. And Dwayne Henry was disposed of in the same episode as Polly Perrette. Dwayne Henry was born in England and joined the NCIS cast in season 13. You'll remember him as Clayton Reeves, the suave former MI6 chap who joined the international desk at NCIS. He lasted 2 seasons before stepping out of the series in the same episode as Polly Perrette. According to Henry, the show didn't quite know what to do with his character. The showrunner who had conceived the character, Gary Glassberg, had died, and the crew had no idea what the future held for Clayton Reeves. When Glassberg died, Henry instinctively knew his character was nearing the end of its arc. He said one couldn't wish for a better exit from a series like NCIS than the way Clayton went out, taken out by a hitman that meant to take out Abby, Polly Perrette. And finally, Jennifer Esposito. She was only in 1 season of NCIS, but she made waves with fans, that's for sure. Special Agent Alexandra Quint worked at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center as a trainer for 15 years before joining NCIS. She had in fact trained McGee, Torres, and Bishop. With this kind of pedigree, NCIS fans were surprised to learn she wouldn't be returning to the show. Some speculated that Jennifer was ill, but she quickly addressed the rumors on Twitter, saying it was not the case. Her character wasn't killed off like many of the other cast members who had exited the show, so there's always a chance Jennifer may return to the NCIS fold. And with that behind-the-scenes glimpse into the world of NCIS, we end this video. Remember to keep a lookout for our next upload.